Welcome to this edition of Collier Focus. On today's show, we'll take a look at the Board of County Commissioners meeting. The Productivity Committee gives their report on Jackson Lab, and the board sets the 2011 millage rate. I'm Troy Miller. We'll cover these stories and more next on Collier Focus. Stay tuned.
Whether reporting on the latest news stories or hot issues, taking a look at county government services, or announcing what's happening around the county, this is Collier Focus, bringing government home.
At the recent Board of County Commissioners meeting, the board heard a report from the county's Productivity Committee regarding their analysis of the Jackson Laboratory project and potential funding options. The Jackson Lab is an independent, nonprofit organization focusing on genetic research to advance human health. The proposed plan would create a biomedical research cluster anchored by a new Jackson Laboratory campus in eastern Collier County. The Jackson Lab financing proposal includes $130 million in state funds, matched by $130 million from the county. The initial state grant of $50 million is contingent upon Congress approving another federal stimulus package, which has yet to occur and remains uncertain. Representatives from the University of South Florida Medical School and Edison State College explained their plans to partner with Jackson Lab at the Biomedical Research Park. Commissioner Coyle cautioned against doing anything to slow the project's momentum.
This was advertised as a report by the Productivity Committee on financing options and the validation of the economic forecast. And they did a very good job of that. I was struck from the comments of many in the audience today that they thought that a decision had been made or was going to be made today, and nothing is further from the truth. It's impossible to make a decision today whether we're going to tax the people or if we're going to tax the people, because there's a lot of work left to be done. This is an evolving process. After the Productivity Committee did their analysis, there was a very major, substantial announcement that could change one's perception of the economic viability of this process. There are likely to be others over the coming weeks or months, because that's how a credible plan is created and a justifiable economic impact is determined. University of South Florida did not develop their business plan before they negotiated a partnership agreement with Jackson Labs. Consequently, we don't have a business plan for all of the partners who are going to be participating in this process, because we don't know who all the partners are going to be. And as I have said to the public before, that this is the agreement that was done for the Burnham Institute in Orlando. It's a lot of stuff here. We're about on page 3. Okay? There are a lot of things to be determined. Who owns the building, who owns the equipment, reverter clauses, all those kinds of things. And we are talking about those. But the point is that the state funding hasn't even been solidified. So how can we make a decision about spending money if the state funds are not available? That would be sort of foolish, wouldn't it? So as I see what we need to do today, we need to do a couple of things with respect to the process. We need to maintain the momentum that has resulted in the partnership formation thus far. And we cannot do that if we say, no, we're not going to make a decision. We don't think this is worth pursuing. We've got to pursue it from today forward until we get something that works. The one missing component of any economic analysis, and it's one that the Productivity Committee I do not think has done, and that is, what is the risk and the cost of not doing anything?
The board voted 4-1 with Commissioner Tom Henning dissenting to direct staff to prepare a $28 million internal loan to cover the county's year one portion of the project. The board unanimously adopted the maximum millage rate for fiscal year 2011. At the board's direction, staff prepared a millage-neutral budget, which holds the general fund millage at $3.5645 per $1,000 of taxable value. The proposed general fund budget has been reduced by $20 million, or 6.2%. Budget Director Mark Isaacson talked about the county's fiscal responsibility over the past several years.
The county's budget in total, the gross or net budget, had dropped some $465 million since 2008. Now, a lot of that's capital, certainly, but there has been some operating reductions. We started under Jim Mudd's tutelage back in 2007 with not replacing new hires, giving due consideration to those positions and trying to determine whether or not they would be necessary to replace those positions. And that's, in fact, what we've done. That's helped tremendously. Some of the business process improvements that we've done within the agency have allowed us to streamline some of our operations and reduce some of our costs, doing it better, cheaper, faster. So all that contributes to the fact that we've been able to carve out quite a bit. And obviously the fact that we're slowing down in our capital program helps that number quite a bit too.
The next step in the budget process is 2 public hearings in September, followed by the board's final adoption of the 2011 budget. On Wednesday's continuation of the board meeting, the day began with the commissioners interviewing the final 2 candidates for the Airport Authority's executive director position. The 2 finalists, Chris Curry, who is currently the airport deputy director at Gary, Indiana Chicago International Airport, and Justin Edwards, who is currently an airport director in Trenton, New Jersey, both impressed the board. After ranking the candidates in what the commissioners called a very difficult decision, they selected Chris Curry for the position. The board directed the county manager to work out the contract details. The new airport authority director may have one less facility to oversee. Everglades Mayor Sammy Hamilton asked the board to turn control and ownership of the Everglades Airport to Everglades City. Commissioner Jim Collier thinks the idea would benefit both the county and Everglades City.
The airport under county direction has been a losing venture for a number of years. I think we lost about $2 million, well, we had to invest $2 million in it over the past 10 years to be able to keep it going. I seen what you did with your volunteer labor. I seen what you did with working with the road prison out of Henry County to keep the cost down for the residents of Everglades City. If I remember correctly, you've been lowering the millage every year since you've been the mayor. It's been unbelievable. I predicted if you got this airport, you would turn it around within a year to 18 months, break even, and you'd be making money in the following year. It would be a tremendous benefit to the residents of Everglades City.
The board directed staff to work with both the Airport Authority and Everglades City to evaluate the feasibility of transferring the airport to Everglades City. We will keep you posted on this story as it develops.